So, final week of preseason. It's a lot because I know it's a lot of relationships with a lot of guys in the building and a lot of guys in the locker room. That we all may never play on the same team again, and that's just the truth behind it. So, I did everything in my power, to get out there and be ready for this week. One last time with this group.
How is that?
It's feeling good. Yeah, everything's good. In life, it's always going to be pain. It's always going to be things, adversity, things that's going to knock you down sometimes. But the main thing about it is you just got to push through it. There's a lot of people in this world that's going through stuff, but, I'm playing for a lot more than just me, So regardless of pain, that's always how I've been, even in college, So in high school and everything from when I was young, regardless, like, physically, if I don't feel my best, I still got to go out there and execute with no excuses.
And here we go. Cleveland Browns rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders just stepped in front of the media on August 21, 2025. And let me tell you, this press conference was nothing short of revealing. Sanders is still adjusting to NFL life, still fighting to prove himself, still dealing with controversies circling his name. But instead of shying away from the spotlight, he leaned into it with a calm, almost unshakable energy. He spoke about pain, perseverance, and positivity, but he also addressed Dillon Gabriel's not-so-subtle jab that's been echoing across the league. And let's be honest, anytime Shedeur speaks, people listen. Because let's face it, this isn't just about football. This is about reputation. This is about the rookie quarterback drafted into the storm, wearing the weight of expectation and having to answer questions that, frankly, number 21-year-old should be asked this early in his NFL career. But Shedeur? He handled it with poise. From the jump, he spoke about what it meant just to get back on the field after sitting out. He said it felt fun. Fun to be out there, fun to be with the team, fun to enjoy the grind of this final preseason week. And he didn't call it training camp anymore, he called it preseason. But because to him, it's not about labels. It's about the work, about the relationships with guys in the locker room who, as he admitted, he may never share the field with again. Think about that. He's acknowledging the reality that many of these players will be cut, moved, or forgotten after this week. That's raw. That's real. And it sets the tone for everything he said that followed. But here's where it really gets interesting. Reporters asked Shedeur how he's feeling, and instead of dodging or giving a cliche, he broke it down. Pain is always there. Adversity is always going to come. Life will knock you down, but you push through. You play for more than yourself. He's been doing it since high school, through college, and now into the pros. He said, regardless of pain, I still got to go out there and execute with no excuses. That's not just athlete talk, that's a mindset. That's Shedeur telling the world that excuses don't live in his vocabulary. And then the conversation shifted to the Browns' quarterback room. Joe Flacco, 40 years old, Super Bowl MVP, was already named the starter for Week 1. Kevin Stefanski made it clear, roles in this offense aren't given, they're earned. So what does that mean for Shedeur? Backup duty. And instead of sulking, instead of complaining, he lit up when he mentioned Tyler Huntley. Huntley has been through the backup grind, and Sanders credited him as a mentor, almost a God-sent voice in the locker room to help him understand how to approach this season. Huntley's words gave Sanders perspective, how to stay locked in, how to embrace competition, how to see even scout team reps as an opportunity. This is huge, because Shedeur hasn't been a backup since his COVID year at Jackson State, when NCAA rules left him ineligible despite already being with the team. He admitted it's strange. He admitted he's not used to it. But instead of complaining, he said he's finding the joy in it. He's finding the fun in every rep, even against the first-team defense. That's humility. That's growth. And honestly, it's a side of Shedeur that critics aren't expecting to see. So let me ask you this. Doesn't it feel like Shedeur Sanders is quietly showing maturity beyond his years? Doesn't it feel like, while others are stirring controversy, he's trying to drown out the noise? Because then came the question that set off the fireworks. Dillon Gabriel, the other quarterback. The one who, in his own post-game interview, drew a line between entertainers and competitors. He called himself a competitor. And the media? They spun that as a shot directly at Shedeur. The entertainer. The flashy one. The one with the high-profile father, the nil deals, the spotlight. When Sanders was asked about it, he didn't flinch. He said he didn't even think about it. He said words can't hurt him. He said Gabriel even approached him on the plane to clarify it wasn't directed at him. And Shedeur? He said he wasn't tripping. He wasn't bothered. He brushed it off like a vet, not a rookie. But come on. Did you believe Gabriel when he said that? Did Shedeur? Because when pressed, he joked with the reporter, saying, "I feel like you trying to start stuff now." He laughed it off, but the undertone was there. Whether Gabriel meant it or not, whether it was shade or just a throwaway line, the controversy is alive. The media is already spinning this into a quarterback rivalry inside the Browns locker room.
After that, in that preseason game last week, Dillon was interviewed, and he talked about the difference between entertainers and competitors. He called himself a competitor. Some people construed that as a shot at you. How did you do that?
Honestly, I don't even think about nothing. I don't think about anything. If it's not words or anything, at this point, it can't do anything to me. I know, the God put the ability and the power within me to not even think about nobody else's comments, not care. It is what it is. I spoke with him. He said, "Nah, bro, that wasn't." He said, "That wasn't." He told me on the plane. He came up. He was like, "Nah, bro, that wasn't at you. I see how they trying to spin." I'm like, "Oh, all right." I'm not tripping, regardless of whatever it was. Nobody's words or anything affects me, So, yeah.
Did you believe him when he told you it wasn't on you?
Did I believe him?
Yeah.
I feel like you're trying to start stuff now. I feel like you're trying to start.
And this is where the drama hits center stage. Because let's be real, this wasn't just about words. This was about perception. Shedeur Sanders is the face, the show, the headline. Dillon Gabriel? He's the grinder, the competitor. And the way the media framed it? A clash of identities inside one quarterback room. And if you don't think that tension matters, then you haven't been paying attention to how NFL locker rooms actually work. Now pause for a second. Let me ask you, the fans, do you think Gabriel was being honest? Or was that a calculated jab at Sanders, meant to draw a line in the sand? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this storyline isn't going away. From there, the pressers shifted back to football. Reporters pressed Shedeur about how he's handling not starting, about how he's handling the number 2 role. And this is where he showed his confidence. He said he doesn't care. He doesn't think about reps. He doesn't think about depth charts. When the lights come on, he'll be ready. Period. That's not arrogance, that's self-belief. That's Sanders putting the league on notice that when it's his time, he's going to deliver. And let's not ignore this. When asked about accuracy, about whether it's his superpower, Shedeur didn't hesitate. He said, "Verse anybody, I always pick me." That's swagger. That's edge. That's Shedeur Sanders telling the world that in any competition, he bets on himself. And isn't that exactly the mindset you want from your future franchise quarterback? When the lights come on, you'll know who I am. That's the quote. That's the energy. And that's why people can't stop talking about this kid. So, Browns Nation, let me hit you with this question. If Joe Flacco stumbles, if Gabriel keeps chirping, and if Shedeur keeps handling the pressure with poise, how long before we see him take over this team? Now, let's not forget, this is still Shedeur's first NFL training camp. Reporters asked him what he's learned, what's changed, what's been his biggest takeaway from this preseason. And his answer? Perspective. That word, perspective, carried weight. He said he looks at life differently now. He comes to practice with good energy, no matter the circumstances. He said he's blessed just to be here, blessed to work, blessed to prepare for his time, whenever that comes. And here's where it gets even deeper. He admitted he's got a lot to fix. He admitted he's got work to do. He's not oblivious to his weaknesses. But instead of rushing, instead of forcing it, he said he's getting more time to cook. Think about that. More time to cook. That's a mindset straight out of his father's playbook. Primetime himself, Dillon Sanders, who always told his sons that timing is everything. Shedeur's not worried about when the opportunity comes. He's worried about being fully prepared when it does. And let me ask you, don't you want a quarterback who embraces the grind like that? Don't you want a young leader who understands that patience isn't weakness, but preparation? But it wasn't all deep reflection. Sanders also dropped some subtle gems about what fuels him. When asked who he's playing for, he didn't give the media an easy soundbite. He didn't name just one cause. He said there are too many things to list, too many reasons he steps onto that field. Family, the organization, his own joy for the game. And the way he said it, you could tell, this isn't just about him. He carries a lot of weight on his shoulders, and he doesn't shy away from it. Then came the question everyone was waiting for. Does he feel like he has something to prove? And he didn't hesitate, of course. But notice how he framed it. He said he's playing for fun, for happiness, for family, for fans, for the Browns organization that drafted him. Not for validation, not to silence critics, for purpose. And that distinction is important, because where some rookies crumble under the spotlight, Shedeur seems to thrive in it. When you play for joy, not just for pride, that's when the game slows down. But just as the media tried to box him in again, asking about the number 2 quarterback role, he shrugged it off. He said he doesn't care. He said whenever it's his time, he'll play. Whenever the lights are on, he'll do his thing. Doesn't that sound like a quarterback who isn't chasing headlines but letting his play do the talking? And then, the conversation turned to Joe Flacco, the 40-year-old veteran, the Super Bowl MVP who still defies age. The question was simple: what does Shedeur think about Flacco's mental strength? And his answer was sharp. He said the mind is the most powerful weapon. He said every day you choose your mindset, positive or negative, joyful or bitter. He even tied it back to football gear, talking about how players wear caps to protect the mind. He joked, "Of course I'm never gonna wear a cap," but the point was clear. Protect the mind, and the body will follow. Fans, let me ask you this. If Shedeur Sanders already understands the mental side of the game at just 21, doesn't that make him one of the most dangerous rookies in this entire class? Because remember, physical gifts fade, but mental sharpness? That's what keeps guys like Tom Brady and Joe Flacco relevant long after the world writes them off. And when Shedeur was pressed about his accuracy, about whether that's his superpower, he doubled down. He said, "Verse anybody, I always pick me." That's pure confidence. That's the energy of a quarterback who knows his arm, knows his skill, knows his preparation. And let's be real, that's the exact kind of swagger the Browns have been missing for years. Now, let's close this out with something you won't hear anywhere else. Shedeur revealed his excitement for his first home game at Huntington Bank Field. And not just for himself, but for Cleveland. He said he wants to find a way to get high school and middle school kids free tickets to the game. Think about that. A rookie quarterback, not even the starter, already thinking about how to connect with the community. That's not just football IQ. That's leadership. That's vision. That's understanding the power of platform. This isn't just about the game. It's about building something bigger. Now, Browns Nation, let's talk straight. The media will spin this as rookie optimism. They'll spin it as Shedeur just saying the right things. But you can hear the conviction in his voice. He's not just trying to survive camp. He's not just trying to impress coaches. He's laying the foundation for something bigger, something that could define this franchise for the next decade. And yet, the controversy remains. Dillon Gabriel's comment still lingers. Joe Flacco's presence still looms large. Tyler Huntley's mentorship still shapes him. The Browns' quarterback room is stacked with competition, tension, and questions. But Shedeur Sanders? He's calm. He's smiling. He's saying all the right things, but you can tell, deep down, he's itching to prove everybody wrong. So let me leave you with this. When the lights shine on Huntington Bank Field, when the dog pound roars, and when Shedeur Sanders finally gets his moment, will the rookie rise to the occasion? Or will this quarterback controversy spiral out of control before it even begins? That's the story. That's the drama. And that's why this August 21st press conference wasn't just another Q&A session. It was a glimpse into the storm brewing inside Cleveland. And that's going to wrap up this breakdown of Shedeur Sanders' exclusive press conference. He spoke about pain, positivity, Dillon Gabriel's controversial comment, Joe Flacco's mental strength, Tyler Huntley's mentorship, and his vision for the future. But now it's your turn, Browns Nation. Do you think Dillon Gabriel's entertainer versus competitor comment was a direct shot at Shedeur? Or was it overblown by the media? And more importantly, how soon do you think we'll see Sanders take over this Browns offense? Drop your thoughts in the comments. This is Gridiron Insights, your home for NFL news, drama, and controversy with no filter. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to smash that like button, hit subscribe, and join the conversation. Because trust me, this quarterback battle is just getting started. Like and subscribe to Gridiron Insights for more.